Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome to the weekly intuitive card reading for May 19th through 25th. All right, guys, you know the drill. Please like this video. Why am I out of breath? Sorry, I just started. Deep breath. Okay. Please like this video. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already subscribed, and hit that notification bell. So you're notified on videos that I post. Right now it's weekly and monthlies. Monthly is coming up soon. Going to have that posted probably the last day of May, 31st, probably that Saturday. So you want a notification for that as soon as I set that and get that set up. What else? Please share this video with anybody that needs to hear the energies of the week. I hope everybody's doing all right. And comments down below. I think that's it, guys. Let's jump right into it. What the heck do we need? Healer. Wow. Okay. Light. Passion to serve others by repairing the mind, body, and spirit. Ability to help transform pain into healing. Oh, I love this. What a great card to start out with. Okay, so we need to be jumping into our healer archetype. We need to be helping others. Guys, I've said it before. I'm a little biased because I am in survival mode and I feel like it's lifting and I'm so happy. And I know because I'm going through something, these are readings for the collective. I know other people are probably going through something. So this is a good indication that we are starting to slowly get out of survival mode because we can't help others unless we help ourselves. So healer is saying, no, we need to be the healer for other people. And yes, maybe the self-healer as well still, right? I don't think we're completely out of the gate. Yeah, we definitely need to be playing that healer type archetype. So definitely feels like a lot of people are going to be coming to us. We're going to be feeling more giving. We've definitely gotten a lot of the same messages in the last week or so, the previous week, about being able to give more of whether it's our time, our finances, whatever your survival mode is, energy. I think we could go for anything really. Yeah, so stepping into that healer archetype and, you know, making sure other people are okay. This is not necessarily the rescuer archetype. This is, again, the healer archetype. So you help, helping people help themselves. Okay, that's really what that's about. So love it. What a great card to start out with. All right, we have action needed. By the way, guys, I'm using natural light and I'm noticing that was probably not the best idea. So sorry if the light keeps changing in that way, but as I get better, I'm going to start, really paying attention to the aesthetics of the video, okay? And maybe actually get on screen so you guys could actually see me. Trust me, you don't want to see me right now. Roots down to my ears. It's best that you just hear my voice. Okay, action needed, deep knowing. Oh, love getting this card. So it's almost kind of like in conflict here because this is basically saying this is what you need to take action on. And then the deep knowing is really, it's just a knowing, right? But it's saying take action on things that you do know, right? That's how I can interpret it there. So deep knowing is that weird intuitive gift of, oh my gosh, I just know things. So if you know something is right for you, just take the action, okay? If you feel like something is intuitively right for you, intuitively aligned, I should say, go ahead and do it, okay? This doesn't require pros and cons list. This doesn't require, taking a couple of times not to make, a couple of days not to make a hasty decision. Of course, use your own intuition. This is not Spirit telling you to do that. Spirit is saying act on that knowing, okay? You have to act on your own intuition, okay? So the direction isn't to make hasty decisions, but it is to listen to your own intuition. And usually that means we do make decisions rather quickly because it feels right, okay? And so it feels aligned. It feels good for us. So I love that. So if there's something pending that maybe you need to make a decision on and you have no logical response for it, you just know that it's the right thing for you, please go ahead and just do it, okay? Listen to that deep knowing. What do we have issue-wise? We have moon, take note of interest. Oh, God. Sometimes the universe has jokes, and this is one of them. So basically we're having issues, what? Listening to our intuitive messages, okay? So we might have issues taking action on what I just said, okay? So, and it might, honestly, I will say this, because of these energies together, it might be a big decision, okay? Because that's a way that I could see how we know something is right for us. It's a big decision to make, and we think we should spend more time on it, or we know it's illogical, or or you just have issues with feeling your intuition, basically, or trusting it. So there's some issues there, right? So yeah, guys, having issues listening to intuition. There's not too much more I can say there. What's another challenge we might have? We have mediator in the shadow. I think we got mediator last time in the light, but this says negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda, either personally or professionally. Okay, so this definitely describes some kind of bias. We have some kind of bias going on this week. All I can say for this is check your bias. Make sure you're looking at things a little bit more objectively, or we're just having issues doing that. We're not able to pull ourselves out of something. I'm getting this intuitively. Maybe we're leaning a little bit more on emotionally, how we feel emotionally about something, so guys, there's a lot of indications here that we might be making, again, maybe a big decision, but if not a big decision, a lot of little decisions. Okay, I'm very excited to pull the next change card because I want to see what's going on here, but I already feel a change, is that we're deciding things. Okay, this is definitely a week of like having to make decisions. So this is kind of saying like we're not staying as objective as we should be, and we're definitely leaning towards maybe something or some things that are more biased in a way. Can I think of an example for this, or will it confuse you guys more? You're taking a public speaking class and you feel like you embarrassed yourself, and that embarrassment and that shame is so overwhelming. Those emotions are so overwhelming, you pull yourself from the class. That's kind of an example. Maybe the subconscious bias is you'll never be good at this or something like that, and then you use that as an excuse. So not the best example, but you guys let me know down below if this resonates with you, and if you feel like sharing, share the example. But there's something here where, again, it's very difficult for us to be objective, and our subconscious bias is playing a role behind the scenes. Honestly, not to get political, but this could definitely interfere with political beliefs, okay? Because we're biased in one way, okay? I don't care what anybody says, most people are, but, it's always important to listen to, and this is a lesson that I've had to learn and still learning, it's important to listen to things more objectively than with like a more perspective that's leaning one way or the other. Yeah, that's a good example for that. I think that was a little bit better than my first one, but yeah, we have issues being objective, basically, is to sum that up. All right, what's actually changing besides having to make decisions? We have building blocks. Ooh, wonderful. Guys, I pull cards for myself every morning. I got the builder card as well, so this definitely rings true for me. So what's changing is we're ready to build something. Another indicator that we're starting to slowly get out of survival mode. We always have these hints. I think the hints started maybe like 5-6 months ago. We love that. So this is basically saying we can create something new. We can start building a foundation to something. I always use the example, and I have been in the last several readings about moving. So if you have just moved, this is a good indication that you're starting something new, that maybe you're finally, all the closing costs have closed, guys, sorry, I never bought a house, so I think that's how it goes. You're ready to start buying the furniture. You're ready for the new life. You're ready to start meeting the neighbors, things like that. So you might be integrating a little bit more into your new life, but also it's saying that it's time to start to build a new life, or whatever is going on in your world, okay? Like I said, that's just an example. Take it, apply it to your life in a way that resonates, basically. All right, what do we need to focus on? Joy. Oh, I love that. Focus on joy, guys. I don't know about you guys. I'm here in the Northeast. The sun has been very, summer in general, light has been very scarce up here lately. It's starting to change, I think, although I just looked at the weather forecast and we have a few more days of, not snow, thank God. rain, at least. But this is saying focus on the joy. Focus on what brings you joy. Find those little, as sometimes people call them, glimmers. Find more lighthearted things. Put your focus towards that. Basically, put your priority towards that. And we love hearing that. All right, what do we need to reflect on? Avenger. Okay, we've gotten this a few times. Resorting to violence in the name of a cause. So the Avenger in the shadow. Yeah, this is basically being too righteous, right? It's again, could be associated with something political for sure. The Avenger archetype shows up a lot in these places, a lot, right? But this is basically resorting to tactics that could be violent, and this could be emotionally violent, yelling at people, screaming at people, calling them stupid, things like that, in the name of a cause, right? And basically, let's put it this way, and I think I gave this example before. If anybody is familiar with what's going on with Luigi Mangione, he would be in the shadow of the Avenger. Okay, he committed a violent act. He created a violent act in the name of a cause. Okay, he was perfectly there's no other perfect example than Luigi Mangione for what happens when you're in your Avenger archetype, and then when it goes into the shadow, is that you take it an extra, a step too far, and you resort to violence. I don't care what you believe about, if you think that was justified, like you're open to your own opinions, but I'm just telling you the archetype that he was in. But that's exactly it. There's no better example. So reflect on instances. Okay, you don't have to have murdered somebody to be in that shadow of the Avenger. It's definitely an extreme example, but it's a perfect example, honestly. Just make sure, reflect. So this is the reflect. So this is basically saying, reflect on situations where maybe you have gone too far, and maybe you have crossed the line in the name of a cause of some kind. So that's a good journal type prompt for this week. Responsibilities, we have never ending story. Okay, so it's kind of like repetitive action in not the greatest way. So telling yourself over and over and over again that maybe you can't do something, negative self-talk. So it's your responsibilities to really watch the negative self-talk this week. Make sure you pull yourselves out of that. I think it can connect here to maybe subconscious bias about ourselves. So think about that. We might have, again, that came up under the mediator, that type of energy, but something, doing something in a cyclical way that just doesn't end. You could also kind of look at this as like a Groundhog Day. So if you feel like, boy, let me tell you, I feel like my routine is the same every single day. I feel like I'm in Groundhog Day for a good 4 years. I will have to say, like, things have transformed a little bit and changed. Like, my protocol has changed, that kind of thing. But it's really, every single day I have one goal. And the goal is to get better. And I have, I would say for maybe like a solid almost like 2.5 years, even though I've been down for the count for about 4 years, it's kind of been the same protocol, the same things every single day. I'm eating the same foods. I can't go anywhere. I can't travel. It's like, it's so mundane. So what I'm trying to say is your responsibilities are trying to break out of that Groundhog Day as much as you can. There's a lot of limitations that I have, but I can see how maybe Spirit is asking me maybe to change one thing or do something a little bit differently, at least one day a week or something like that. So this is saying, break out of the routine a little bit. That's your responsibility is to make sure that happens if you can. Of course, like I said, sometimes we do have limitations. Okay, money and finances we have, and I put career here, Earth Guardian, stay rooted and grounded. Yes, we keep getting, maybe not last week, I don't think we got many cards of like the groundedness, rooting, foundational type energy, but we've gotten it here with the building blocks. We're getting it here in Earth Guardian with the grounded card. So money, finances, and career, this means that we're getting rooted somewhere. We're getting rooted in finances. So this might mean that you're getting more serious about your finances, where you want to set a foundation and you're saying, okay, I'm going to, speaking of routine, this is routine in kind of like a good way, because it's saying, in a more positive way. Okay, I'm opening this account and I'm putting, I'm opening this savings account and I'm putting $1,500 or $500 or whatever, whatever amount. I don't know. I just said random amounts into my savings account, per month. Making that goal in order to do something, right? Maybe buy a house, maybe go back to school, whatever it actually is. So it's saying that we're getting rooted and we are getting, again, kind of like conflicting energy here too, because it's saying something that we're doing in routine is not necessarily working for us and breaking out of routine. But this is saying, no, we're going into routine for money, finances, and career. But maybe routine is a little bit strong of a word. Again, it feels like we're foundational. Like we want to start something foundational. Maybe we're starting a college fund for a child that we just had. Okay, that's a good example of this card as well. Money, finances, and career. Okay, maybe sorry, that ambulance is super annoying. I live in New York City, so it's constant. It's constant. So maybe this is about, oh God, I lost my train of thought. Oh, maybe we just enrolled for a course that is going to set the foundation for our new career, like a new career path. Okay, so we just signed up for college, for example. College fits in here, money, finances, and career. Okay, so there's something here where we are starting something that has something to do with money, finances, and career, and we're getting really rooted in it, which means longevity. Okay, definitely getting longevity vibes here. Okay, so this also is really great if maybe you've had maybe more unstable type work in the past or unstable finances. This fares well for, okay, we're starting to get rooted, we're starting to get grounded in this area. Love it, guys. It's positive, trust me. Okay, surprise. Surprise, surprise, shapeshifter, projecting any image that serves your personal agenda in the moment. Okay, so in the shadow shapeshifter is basically the shiny object syndrome, basically. Okay, so it's in. Okay, so it came in the shadow and it's under surprise. So shiny object syndrome might come out of nowhere. Maybe you've been really dedicated, devoted to something, and you just kind of veer off to the side, right? The example I can give for this is, because we have building blocks here, maybe the change is starting your own business, right? Building blocks always fares well, really, really well for entrepreneurs. And maybe you're starting your own business and then you say, oh, wait a minute. I just got a recruiter emailing me about a gig, about a job, and they pay really well. Maybe entrepreneurship isn't for me. Maybe I should take this. Maybe I should just take the interview, see how it goes. Okay, that's an example of the shapeshifter coming in the shadow and being like, oh, shiny object. It's like, no. Okay, there's reasons why we've been getting this energy of commitment, because Spirit wants us to commit to something. Spirit does want us to put down the foundational energy, okay, and actually build something. So I think it might come to test us, I will say, okay? Try not to fall for it. If you do, it's okay. There's a reason it's coming up. But just watch out for shiny object syndrome. That's basically what Spirit is trying to say. Okay, if something looks like it's, ooh, fun, and distracts you. Watch out for distractions. That's a good, I'm glad I came up with that word. Okay, distractions. Watch out for any distractions. I do feel like you pull yourself out of it really quickly. So, oh boy, shiny object syndrome, right? Shout out to all my ADHD people, because that happens to us more often than others. Okay, friends, we have to be fair. Okay, so this is about being fair, being non-judgmental, about being objective can be that. Okay, we have the mediator, we're having issues in that area, so maybe it is like someone in your immediate friend group or even family, I will say. Somebody's maybe your two kids are having an argument. I think I've used this example before. It's important to stay objective. Don't, sway on the side of the one kid who's usually a troublemaker. Maybe, maybe he started it, or she or they or whatever started it. Be fair, okay? Act as the judge, right? Because that's what the mediator is saying in the shadow. It's basically saying you're supposed to be objective. You're supposed to be the judge, right? You're not supposed to be on either side, right? And it says here with friends too. So maybe there's a dilemma between friends. It's not saying, by the way, sometimes we get energy with these cards that say stay out of it. This is actually saying you're going to be in it, and it's important for you to be impartial and objective. Okay. Also, too, I do want to note this could be about balance. So this could also have like a second meaning to it, where maybe you have to do a better job of balancing your friendships because they really matter. So if there's a friend reaching out to you this week that maybe needs your help, because we do have that healer archetype going on, definitely make time for them, make space for them. Okay, so I just wanted to throw that in there. Romantic connection, what do we got going on? We have Shapeshifter again, okay, in a different deck. How interesting. Transform and unveil your gifts. Okay, so this is in the light, basically, right? Because these don't have, this is not the archetype deck. This is the angels and ancestors. So basically, it's saying the ability to be flexible, the ability to be adaptable, the ability to transform, use different gifts, etc. So basically, we're in romantic connection. This isn't telling us to change for our partner, okay? This is not the energy. This is basically saying be adaptable. So maybe your partner has to, plans change this week and you're supposed to have date night on Friday. Now you have to have it on Saturday, okay? Because they have to work late, okay? So this is basically saying just be as flexible as you possibly can in your romantic connection this week, and hopefully vice versa, right? This could also mean for single people, shout out to my single people, is maybe be a little bit more flexible and less rigid. Nobody's telling you to throw out your deal breakers. Deal breakers are deal breakers, and your must-haves are must-haves. But they shouldn't be a laundry list. They shouldn't be, 30 things each on each list. Be a little bit more flexible. You might actually, by doing this, meet somebody that's really great for you, or have like a pleasant time, or something along those lines. But yeah, and hopefully that makes sense. Okay, important. What's important? So many things are important. Destroy or releasing what is potentially destructive, preparing for new life. Ooh, we like that new energy. We had that week, maybe a couple weeks back, where Spirit heard my disappointment in not necessarily feeling that new energy, those new beginnings quite yet. I think the Spirit really just appeased me for that week, but no, just kidding, because here's a card, okay? Here's a card that validates that, okay? So it's important to release what is potentially destructive and prepare for new life. That's it. Very straightforward energy. And it's basically saying, let go of what does not, actually scratch that. I wouldn't say it's about letting go. It's literally saying destroy, okay? So guys, this is like, if you want to do a ritual of some kind, my witches out there, my spiritual peeps, if you want to do something that, like a spell or like a ritual that, because this is how Spirit is showing me like lighting something on fire. If you want to do something like that, guys, because there's obviously fire, well, it's technically lava, right? That's a volcano, if you guys could see it, spewing out so obviously the lava is going to destroy whatever it touches, right? And so basically I'm getting this picture of like someone doing like a ritual, with fire, and actually like destroying, it like basically Spirit is saying like it has to be very like cut and dry in a way. There is no necessarily that's why I really stopped myself from saying like letting go, because I don't think it's necessarily letting go. It's literally destroying it. So guys, does this mean that we destroy people's property? Does this mean that that we hurt other people? No. Okay, this just means like we got to be the phoenix that rises from the ashes. But in order to have the ashes, we need to have a volcanic eruption and some fire going on. So you have to really destroy it, which means it means more so like more cut and dry type energy. So it's under important. I don't know what that can mean for you guys. If you could let me let me know down below how it does resonate, that would be awesome. I'm trying to think, does anything resonate with this in my life? I'm not sure, not quite yet. But again, the week didn't happen yet, so we'll see. Okay, and then we have health and wellness. We have chaos and conflict. Ooh, I don't love that. I do not love that. in this spot. But hey, we almost got to the end of the reading with, I didn't see any red flag cards so far, really. So, here we go. So chaos and conflict. Okay, so we might be in conflict with maybe our health and wellness. There might be some chaotic type energy. What I can say for this, maybe something doesn't turn out the way that it should. Maybe we're in conflict because we want to start, I know for me in the chronic illness world, sometimes it's, not sometimes, it is, well, yeah, maybe I'll use the word sometimes. Most of the time, let's say that. It's hard to start one protocol when you're doing a protocol for something else, right? So if you're trying to heal your leaky gut, right, there's a protocol for that. But at the same time, you have chronic headaches, and then there's a protocol for that. Okay, so the protocol could conflict. Like maybe one of them says no sugar, and the other one says, oh no, you need glucose for the brain. So now you're like, how am I supposed to do one without the, they're in conflict with each other. That's how I'm getting for this, okay? So maybe you do have a health issue, but you're on a weight loss journey and you can't follow a strict diet because you have all these other allergies, or, you have to stick on this protocol for this certain thing, for a certain health issue, and that's conflicting, okay? So there's some kind of chaos, conflicting type energy when it comes to health and wellness. This might have, if you're on a mental health journey and you are on one antidepressant, but it messes with another physical issue that you have. Okay, that's another good example here. So there's something here that's creating conflict. All right, maybe I take it back. Maybe it's not the worst. I'm a little biased myself because I always want health and wellness to be in the more positive end of things, but it's not terrible, okay? It's not terrible. I would actually say, the shiny object syndrome leading us astray is kind of more negative than this particularly. So it's just conflict, okay? So we shouldn't, veer away from it. It's just we have to kind of pivot and figure it out. All right, overall outcome. Let's go, kids. We have trust your instincts. Okay, I think that's very fair, and I think that makes a lot of sense because we started out up there very, very clearly this saying, hey, you have a deep knowing, which is our claircognizant, and you need to actually take action on it, okay? And then right after that, the issue is basically like, all right, you have issues trusting your intuition. So trust your instincts, trust your intuition. I already know what I'm going to title this because I think that's really making it very apparent that that's the most important thing this week. So guys, I know it's hard, but you guys can do it, okay? What else? Anything I would notice as a red flag? We already talked about chaos and conflict. Shapeshifter we talked about. Maybe Avenger a little bit, but again, this isn't anything necessarily that's happening. This is more reflective type energy, the things that we're thinking about, the things that we're pondering, the things that we are, introspecting on. So it's not necessarily something I would call a red flag. Staying objective as possible, watching those subconscious bias. Yeah, I actually think it's going to be a pretty decent week. I think it's going to lean a little bit more on the positive side for sure. We love it. Guys, let me know down below how it resonates with you. And as always, have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.